Spain this morning, out in the countryside, very pretty, but we're about to leave Spain and enter France. Porta Catalana, I assume that's Catalonia that we're leaving. Oh, here we have our first opportunity to deal with the toll booth. There on top is some old fort, and we are in, I assume, the edge of the Pyrenees. We're definitely in the mountains. That fort was probably protecting the border, which is imminent. There we go. Oh, 500 meters. Some significant mountains up there. This hotel is in the center of Bordeaux, about 350 feet from the main cathedral, and the only traffic on the road is to drop things on and off. And you got to be careful that you're pulled over far enough that you don't impede the tram coming up the street, which we did. Built in the 1800s, this was originally the home of a cardinal. Much of the 19th century charm and elegance has been beautifully restored. This is one of two main shopping streets in downtown Bordeaux, but on Sunday evening at 6:30, there weren't many shoppers, but there was this large group of people waiting for this restaurant to open at 7 o'clock. We were told we didn't need a reservation on Sunday night, but that was wrong. Even at 7 o'clock, it filled up quickly. After dinner, we walked around a bit. This is the Place de la Bourse. It was built between 1730 and 1775. In the center of the square, there used to be a statue of Louis XV, but of course that disappeared during the Revolution, and after several other things being placed there in 1848, they put in this fountain. Across the street is the Mirror d'Eau. It's the world's largest reflecting pool, covering 37,000 square feet. It was built in 2006. It's made of granite slabs covered by 3/4 of an inch of water. In the summer, a system allows it to create fog every 15 minutes. The Parliament of Bordeaux was an appellate court for the area, and it lasted from 1462 until the beginning of the French Revolution in 1790. The Fountain of Parliament was installed in 1865. We're at the winery Haut Brion this morning. In the classification of 1855, 4 wineries in Bordeaux were classified Grand Cru. 3 in the Médoc and only 1 in Graves, and that was Chateau Haut Brion. Don't know who that is, but here's the Haut Brion property. Those are all their vineyards. And this chateau was founded in 1525. Thomas Jefferson liked it a lot and imported a bunch to his home in Virginia. In 1935, an American banker, Clarence Dillon, bought the estate. His descendants still have it. Prince Robert of Luxembourg is the 4th generation owner of Chateau Haut Brion and has been an administrator there since he was 18 years of age. Now he's the president. In 1961, Chateau Haut Brion installed Bordeaux's first stainless steel tanks for temperature-controlled fermentation. The wine is then aged in up to 100% new French oak barrels for as long as 24 months. Our next stop was just about a block away, also owned by Chateau Haut Brion. It's the Chateau La Mission Haut Brion. Wines have been produced here since the early 16th century. And then in 1650, the owner gave the land to a Christian charity. And that is evident in some of the buildings around the property today. After the French Revolution, however, the land was taken away from the church and sold to a private party. And then in 1983, Clarence Dillon, owner of Chateau Haut Brion next door, bought them out. Many people feel that the quality of La Mission is as good as Haut Brion and should be classified premier cru. La Mission vineyards are 42 acres and Haut Brion is 130 acres. Bordeaux winemakers tend to age their wine in oak barrels for 6 to 9 months. This allows time for an exchange between the air and the wine and to bring oaky notes to the wine. This is the tasting room at La Mission, and this is a young lady who gave us a private tour. We didn't get to taste the Haut Brion, but we did get to taste the La Mission. After lunch in a small village deli, we drove on to Chateau. This site has been home to a vineyard since at least 1711. Thomas Jefferson visited here and ordered 250 bottles of the 1784 vintage for himself and some additional bottles for George Washington. This is a medieval castle that's been on the site since the 1400s. Here's Chateau sits atop the highest point in the Sauternes region. In 1996, French giant LVMH, Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton, bought 55% of Chateau.
To get the development of the noble rock, we need the perfect calculation between the soluble in the morning and the stallion in the afternoon.
They go through the vineyard maybe 6 times. They only get the grapes that have the noble rot, the botrytis. They pick the grapes one at a time, not one bunch at a time. As a result, their yields are quite low. This doesn't look like anything you'd want to use, but these are how the grapes look. The noble rot or botrytis is a fungus that shrivels and decays wine grapes. However, it does 2 great things. It makes it sweeter and the flavor is more complex. The grapes are pressed 3 times, then transferred directly to oak barrels to mature for about 3 years. This is a stairway that leads down to the beautiful tasting room. They produce about 65,000 bottles each year. However, in a poor year, the entire crop is deemed unworthy of having their name and they sell it off to somebody anonymously. And then we got to taste these 2 wines. On the left is the 2015 Chateau, and on the right is their dry white wine, 2016. I learned that Chateau is like no other sweet wine in the world. It combines compelling aromatics of flowers, honey, tropical fruits, vanilla, apricot, white peaches, grilled nuts, and oranges when young. And as it gets older, it takes on a darker color, along with scents of caramel, butterscotch, and honeyed tropical fruits. Doesn't reach full maturity for 35 to 50 years or even longer. And it's not uncommon for the best vintages of Chateau to deliver intense pleasure at 100 years of age. Since 1959, though not every year, Chateau has also produced a dry white wine. It's made from a blend of 80% Sauvignon Blanc and 20% Semillon. In the 1855 classification, Chateau received a rating higher than any other wine, red or white, Premier Cru Superior. This is a little village of Bourdeaux, another typical little French village here in Sauternes. The town here is Barsac, B-A-R-S-A-C. After a day in the country, we had a nice dinner at this restaurant that was in walking distance of our hotel.